Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this QLTS School webinar on the Qualified Lawyers Transfer Scheme. We're going to give you lots of useful information on what the QLTS is, some tips for passing, and some information on how best you can utilize the opportunity to prepare for these assessments and start to practice on successfully completing the assessments as a qualified English solicitor. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me. I'd be grateful if you could please type a message into the question window or raise your hands using the software interface to let me know that we're all on board and that you can hear me. So we've got a couple of hands up, which is good, and I'm working on that basis that everyone is able to hear me. During the course of this webinar, if you do have any questions, please feel free to type them into the question window, and we'll have a couple of moments throughout and at the end where I can answer any questions you may have, but hopefully we'll cover them during the course of this presentation. So I just want to take a quick poll to see where everybody is this afternoon. So on your screen now, you'll see a quick poll, and if you could please let me know where you are, if you're in the UK or outside the UK, which just gives us a little bit of an indication as to where you are. So most people are outside the UK, still got results coming in. It's like an election night broadcast. And right, so if you haven't voted yet, please click the button. It doesn't matter where you are in the UK or outside the UK, you'll still be able to take advantage of the QLTS assessments so that you can advance your legal career. Okay, thank you very much indeed for voting. And okay, the results are in and most people are outside the UK. Great stuff. So, what is the QLTS? It is an alternative route for international lawyers to qualify as solicitors of England and Wales. It's administered by the Solicitors Regulation Authority, or the SRA, which is the organisation responsible for regulating solicitors in the United Kingdom. And it's replaced the previous QLTT, or Qualified Lawyers Transfer Test regime, which was phased out between 2010 and more recently the final round of assessments for eligible people was held in August. So if you're an international lawyer who wants to dual qualify, you must now take the QLTS. So why should you become an English solicitor? What are the benefits of this qualification? There are some publications in recent months and years which show that English law is the preferred jurisdiction for governing international transactions and business agreements across the world. So companies or parties to a transaction who have no connection with the UK or are not even based in the UK may still prefer their business to be governed by English law. It's seen as impartial, it is seen as reliable, and seen as robust, giving people certainty and comfort that they have a fair system of law that governs their transactions. And so as a result, there's significant demand for English lawyers, and the advantages for someone with international experience qualifying and practicing as an English solicitor are manifest. So you can work as a solicitor in England and Wales or advise on matters of English law wherever you are in the world. You can unlock new career opportunities throughout the world, and some success stories of our candidates which are available on the QLTS School website do touch on this, from people from different jurisdictions, from Mexico, Korea, Poland, who have qualified in their home jurisdiction, taken the QLTS and dual qualified, and are now enjoying their new role in their home countries. So you can enhance your professional profile, reputation, and marketability in your home jurisdiction, or if you so desire, apply for jobs that require an English solicitor elsewhere in the world. And the best term to describe that is a truly international legal professional. You can therefore offer a wider range of legal services to your clients, gain a foothold in the EU market if you want to forge a career within the European Union, and win more business and increase your revenues. And people who have dual qualified as English solicitors are utilized in a wide range of roles in their firms. Some of them work as consultants, some work on day-to-day matters of English law, and others advise their international clients on specific aspects of English law but don't necessarily work on files or cases. So it depends on the needs of the client and the needs of the firm that you're joining or that you are working with. But more and more law firms around the world are seeing the benefits of dual qualified English solicitors. And so as awareness increases, and so does the value and utilization of people who have qualified by the QLTS. So let's look at the information about the QLTS assessments themselves. There are two parts to the test. The first part is the multiple choice test. This is the written aspect of the assessments. And it consists of 180 multiple choice questions divided into 3-hour periods of morning and afternoon sessions, each session consisting of 90 questions. Feedback from candidates has been, without shadow of a doubt, it's an intensive assessment and you're required to apply your legal knowledge in a very short amount of time to a large number of questions. In the MCT, as I'll discuss when we look at the assessments in more detail, you are not expected to memorize and recite case law or lists. You're instead expected to know and apply the principles of English law and be able to demonstrate that understanding based on a variety of scenario-based questions. The second part is the practical element, or the objective, structured clinical examination, and these assess the practical skills that an English qualified solicitor is required to have to an acceptable level. It helps at this point to iterate the standard that the SRA expects of people who pass the QLTS, and that is of a newly qualified solicitor on their first day in the job. So QLTS candidates are bypassing the domestic route, which involves an undergraduate study or postgraduate study of 1 year full-time, a vocational course, and then a 2-year period of work experience or the training contract. And so because you don't have that practical experience working in English law, you are expected to compensate for that by demonstrating these skills, both practical and theoretical, to a very high level. And so between the multiple choice test and the objective structured clinical examination, your opportunity to demonstrate that you meet those requirements to the standards that satisfies the SRA will arise. And so this can be divided into a driving test, by way of analogy. In a driving test, you have the theory component, which demonstrates your ability to understand and know the rules of the road and what to do in particular situations. But that alone is not enough to satisfy people to let you out in a car on the road. You have to demonstrate your practical skills behind the wheel of a car. And that is where the objective structured clinical examination comes in. When you think about it like that, that helps you to focus your mind and your preparation efforts accordingly. So for the MCT, your focus is on knowing and applying English law, whereas for the objective structured clinical examination, the emphasis is on demonstrating the practical skills that a lawyer is required to have, those of interviewing, advocacy, legal research, legal drafting, and legal writing. So part 2 tests the skills in each of the areas of business law, civil and criminal litigation, and property and probate. It helps at this stage to just quickly go over the rules of the QLTS so that you are aware of what is expected as well as the need to thoroughly prepare. The multiple choice test must be passed before the OSCE is attempted, so you must do the first part of the assessment before you do the second. The rules allow 3 attempts at each of the 2 parts of the assessments during your 5-year validity of the certificate of eligibility, which means that if you fail at these attempts, you have to wait another 5 years until you can attempt it again. And so given the time and cost factor that you are taking on board here. It's important to work on the basis that you want to pass each of the assessments on the first attempt. There are some exemptions which can be granted, but they're only granted by the SRA to EEA and intra-UK lawyers, and they apply to the MCT. Lawyers from other jurisdictions cannot obtain exemptions. And worst of all, for some people, candidates are not allowed to use any materials during the assessments. These are known as closed book exams. You cannot bring in notes, textbooks, or any other materials, and therefore you're required to demonstrate your knowledge based on your memory and your ability to apply the law based on a particular set of scenarios or circumstances which you only become aware of on the day of the assessment. So it's a high standard, it's an intensive assessment, and therefore you need to make sure that you're prepared as best you can in the time you have. So when can you take the exams, and how do you do it? Okay, all the assessments are offered twice a year in London in the United Kingdom. The Kaplan has now published the dates in advance. They didn't used to. They only used to publish them as and when the assessments came up. So the next two MCTs will be on the 12th of February next year and the 10th of July. I would write those down if you have the opportunity to do so. They're very important dates, and based on your own circumstances, you can decide which assessment is best for you. And the next OSCE the next OSCE will be offered in April or May next year. The date for that assessment is still to be confirmed. You must obtain a certificate of eligibility to sit the assessments, and this is a document from the SRA which confirms your ability and eligibility to sit the assessments and provides specific details. You cannot even book your place on the assessments, let alone sit them, until you have this certificate. QLTS School's administrative team will help you as far as we can in obtaining this certificate, but any specific inquiries must be directed to the SRA. A list of qualified lawyers in recognized jurisdictions is published on the SRA website. So if you're not quite sure whether you're from an eligible jurisdiction, you can check on the SRA site to confirm this. And in some jurisdictions, lawyers will need to satisfy the English language requirement. And more details of that can be found on the QLTS School website for handy reference. So we've looked at what these assessments are. And we've covered the detail in which you're expected to be able to demonstrate, as well as the rules for the assessments. But why do you need a course provider? There's several reasons why. The first is that the assessments are administered solely by Kaplan, and they are not allowed to provide any preparation courses for the assessment. They're not allowed to as part of their contract, and therefore you cannot go to Kaplan for preparation and then for the assessments themselves. So you have two options. You can either take a preparation course with QLTS School or other providers, or you can prepare by yourself, and I certainly wouldn't recommend the latter for several reasons I'll go into in a moment. As stated before, you only have 3 attempts per assessment at during the 5-year validity of your certificate of eligibility. So you have finite opportunities to sit the assessments. There's also cost aspects involved as well. You have to pay a fee for each assessment. If you fail, then you have to pay another fee to sit the next assessment, and it can become quite expensive. So it's much better from a financial perspective, as well as a time and investment perspective, to aim to prepare as thoroughly as you can, to attempt each assessment once and pass it on the first attempt. The MCT has no specific or predetermined pass mark, and this really is something which makes a big difference for many people. There is no set standard of 51% pass, 49% fail, for example. Instead, the pass mark changes with each assessment, and it's determined by what is known as a standard setting panel, convened by the SRA, and it's based on very rigorous and robust criteria. And so the pass mark can change from low 50s in some cases to low 60s in others. Therefore, you must excel and score a higher mark in order to pass. And the OSCE is a very unique practical assessment. As mentioned in the previous slide, it's based on the clinical assessments which medical students have to go through as part of their qualification practice. And in the same way that a doctor cannot demonstrate his ability to take a blood sample by reading a book about it or answering or giving an oral presentation about it, a solicitor cannot demonstrate that they're competent at interviewing and advising a client, arguing a case before a tribunal or a judge, or preparing a cogent and accurate piece of legal writing or research unless they demonstrate it in practical terms. And that's the purpose of the OSCE. And so because it's a practical assessment, it's unique, and you have to prepare in a unique manner for that assessment. And QLTS School has the courses and the proven track record of success to meet your preparation needs. And so with the preparation course, you will have the materials and the resources which are relevant, accurate, and aimed solely at the QLTS assessments, so that you spend more time practicing relevant material and less time trying to collate, identify relevant books, or keep on top of developments. So just a bit of information about the QLTS School's pass rate. According to Kaplan QLTS's published results, the overall pass rate on the sitting earlier this year in January was 59%. The pass rate for QLTS School's course takers was 81%, so the vast majority of people who prepared for the January 2013 assessment passed when they took the course with QLTS School. Those who didn't take the course with QLTS School, whether they decided to prepare themselves or go with other providers, was 38%. And so it's fairly clear that taking the QLTS School's MCT course dramatically improves your prospects of succeeding by a statistically significant amount, estimated to be 23%. So what does this mean for you? It means that we're not just promoting something which we don't have any proof of in terms of success. We have a very good product, a product that works, and a preparation course that's built on years of experience and sole focus on the QLTS. We listen to candidate feedback, we're in regular contact with Kaplan and the SRA, and we are constantly staying on top of legal developments and making our course the best it can be. And our focus on everything we do is to give you the best possible course with everything you need presented in ways that will help you learn, prepare, and test your knowledge. And we have a question on that, whether there are suitable materials to help people prepare, and we're just about to go into that. So I'm about to demonstrate this to you as well as just telling you, but the ultimate QLTS School preparation course is the most comprehensible, affordable, and flexible preparation course for all of the QLTS assessments. Our tutors and administrative staff are experienced, in regular contact with the SRA, and have helped candidates from a variety of jurisdictions in all kinds of circumstances and with different learning requirements. Our course is exclusively focused and only reflects the SRA's latest outcomes and requirements, and our QLTS training combines different media and different materials to help you learn in a way that suits you best. It's regularly updated, and it's designed to help you, whatever your experience, whatever your legal knowledge, to prepare and pass. So why should you study with QLTS School? Well, we've alluded to the reasons based on our focus, our expertise, our experience, and our professionalism. And so QLTS School will only ever offer courses for the QLTS. We won't offer courses for other qualifications. All of our staff, all of our materials, and all of our resources are focused on the QLTS assessments. And this means you have dedication, support, and experience, and a set of tutors who have the knowledge and the capability to deliver top quality training and assistance to help you prepare. In addition, we use the latest technology which I'll be demonstrating to you during the course of this webinar, which allows you to study on your terms. And as we saw from the poll, most people are out of the UK, and therefore you have the flexibility to study wherever you are, whenever fits you best, full-time, part-time, or any-time. We always stay on top of legal developments and update our materials when there are significant changes, but in addition, with any other changes, we will send you the updates by email, as well as making them available on our MCT online training system, which you will have access to as part of the course. As mentioned before, we have a higher pass rate for QLTS school candidates compared to the overall pass rate. And at the end of this webinar, I strongly recommend going onto our website and checking out our success stories. It's candidates who have passed the QLTS assessment on the first attempt. They come from jurisdictions all over the world, and they share with you their own experiences, their tips, their battle strategies, and on how best to prepare, spend your time, and sit the assessments. So the first thing we're going to look at is the MCT course. And on your screen now are photos of the textbooks that come as part of this package. And the purpose of this package is to give you the legal knowledge as well as the opportunities to test and apply your knowledge that is required to put you in the best possible position for sitting and passing the MCT. So what do you get for this course? You receive 11 comprehensive textbooks covering all areas of practice required by the SRA. What this means in practical terms is when you sign up for the course, you get a big box of books, 2,000 pages worth almost, and it can be quite daunting at first, but we give you a QLTS course handbook which explains everything, as well as a recommended methodology for preparing for the assessments. Two of our packages also offer the MCT video library with over 80 online tutorials spanning 35 hours worth of lectures. And this is accessible when you are connected to the internet. They stream to your computer and they visually present the principles of English law and provide both a good overview and a recap of the day one outcomes, which can supplement your learning as well. You'll also receive a set of revision notes summarizing the key points and main legal principles, as well as an extensive online resource and advanced training system. I'm going to show you now the online training system itself so that you can see exactly what you receive. While I'm waiting for that to load, I'm just going to have a quick look through your questions. Okay, one question which was at the beginning was, can one take the exam in their country of origin? Unfortunately, you need to go to London in order to sit the assessments. Okay, so on your screen now is the online training system. And you can see it's broken down by different courses. At the top are the MCT mock tests, then the MCT video library, and then outcome A1 all the way through to outcome A11. In addition, at the bottom, there is the updates, which are promulgated whenever there are changes in the law. I'll quickly demonstrate one of the mock tests so that you can see how it works. The idea is that when you're working through the textbooks, you have opportunities to log on to the online training system and use the feedback on the practice questions to test your understanding of the English law, as well as identify and fill in any gaps in your knowledge. I apologize if it's not streaming very well at the moment. It's normally quite fast, but streaming the webinar as well as loading the questions is a bit much on my poor internet connection. Now, it's just loading up now. The idea is that for the practice questions, there is no time limit. But for the mock tests, the aim is to hone your exam technique. And the only way to do that is by practicing under exam conditions. And so what we offer is 90 questions in which you will not receive feedback until after you have completed it, and they are on 3-hour timer countdowns. And that gives you the closest possible replication of exam conditions, and so you can mentally prepare as well as refine the timing that you will be using for the assessment itself. And by way of example, we recommend that people aim for 2 minutes per question, which gives them ample time to cover the 90 questions, as well as has the opportunity to review their answers or provide a little bit more time if they're stuck on a particular question. Okay. While that's loading, I'm going to load up one of the sample questions, which is on our presentation. And the purpose of this is to give you an example of the depth of knowledge required, as well as the way in which you're expected to apply that knowledge in the assessment itself. Okay, bear with me a moment. Apologies for this. Okay, so on your screen you can see an example of a sample question relating to property law. Hopefully you can all see it. If you can't see it, please let me know. Okay, so this is a question relating to types of, it's a scenario question, and you're expected to answer a question on the legal position. So here it's what sort of interest in land does the farmer have. And so you're expected to know the different types and be able to apply that knowledge to a particular scenario question, and then be able to differentiate between 5 different choices. And in some cases the answers may look similar, but you are required to choose the best answer. And the only way to choose the best answer is to correctly apply the law based on a particular scenario. And so in this sample question, the correct answer is C. It doesn't matter at this stage if you don't already know the law or what the answer may be. The point of this is to illustrate the need to prepare thoroughly in the required areas so that you're in a position to answer this question confidently and totally. Okay, so you can now see on your screen the feedback on completion part of one of the mock tests. And this shows a similar type question to what you saw on the presentation just now. You have the question stem and 5 different answers. When you click on one of the checkboxes to indicate your answer, you click submit, and then it moves on to the next question. And you work through the 90 questions for the mock test within the 3-hour time limit. After 3 hours, it stops, and you can see how you did. So another sample question on the screen is tort. And this question relates to the Fatal Accidents Act and whether or not a particular group of people can claim. And so you have 5 different choices, and you have to select one based on your knowledge of the Fatal Accidents Act and who is or is not eligible to claim. So these 2 questions are examples of the depth of legal knowledge you're expected to know and apply across the course of 180 questions in one sitting. Okay, so the answer to this one is E. Under the Fatal Accidents Act, the husband, children, woman's mother, sister, and uncle can claim. And so, as you can see, you are required to demonstrate a very high standard of knowledge for these assessments. Now, we are going to give you a very special offer at the end of this presentation, and I just want to show you a feature of the course which you can get at a discounted rate for exclusive access. and thanking you for attending this webinar. One option we have with the MCT Premium course is a customized study plan, and that involves a consultation with an MCT tutor and then a detailed study plan with the exact steps you need to follow, when you need to aim for completion by, and it will give you all the dates and guides that you need to prepare for the MCT based on your individual circumstances, whether you're working full-time, your workload, your holiday and family commitments. We'll cover all that in the phone call, work out your needs and prepare a study plan accordingly. And it can give you dates to work towards, which can help you to motivate and check your progress, as well as a completion date for you to fill in so that you know how you are proceeding. So here's an example on screen of a sample questionnaire which you are sent when you sign up for the premium course. The tutor then reviews this and then will have a phone call with you and discuss your preparation efforts. This is a very useful way of preparing for the MCT because you have that guidance needed to hit the ground running and start studying immediately and effectively with a realistic time frame within which to complete each outcome and prepare for the assessment itself. Now let's move on to the OSCE course, and this is the practical assessment which aims to test your higher levels of knowledge and understanding and your ability to accurately advise clients in the 3 legal practice areas using a variety of skills. And it is assessed to a higher standard than the legal practice course, which is the equivalent assessment for domestic candidates. It's based on the assessment system used for medical students, and it requires a practical demonstration of your skills rather than a theoretical application. It assesses the skills of interviewing, advocacy, writing, drafting, and online legal research. And whereas the MCT assesses it based on a closed exam, this is based on stations. And you rotate through these stations using methods such as acting for client interviewing and advocacy, where a professional actor simulates the client or the judge. And for legal research, you are required to access one of 2 legal databases to find the information required to answer a set question. You're sat on a terminal and you have to be able to find that information within a limited time. It's very high pressure, it's very practical, and it's important therefore that you prepare both for the technique as well as for law. You should be able to know and understand the relevant legal principles and be able to explain those to the client, argue those in a mock hearing, or put them into written form. And so it's a 2-pronged assessment. There's the skills and the law. Whereas the MCT covered a wide area of law, here the law is built on the law that you study in the MCT and tested in a different manner. So it's designed to bridge the gap between your academic studies in the 3 practice areas, foundation subjects, and legal skills which can only be gained and demonstrated through practicing experience. For the QLTS school course, we offer a personalized preparation course available with an expert tutor guiding you from day 1, whereas the MCT takes more of a self-study approach, albeit in some packages with a dedicated and customized study plan as well as 2 hours of tutor support. The OSCE is entirely guided with a tutor. They will give you the materials which you will work through, but you will also receive mock exams in which you will practice with the tutor and you'll receive live expert feedback. Our expert tutors are drawn from qualified solicitors and barristers, senior university law lecturers, as well as SRA external examiners on the legal practice course. These are highly experienced tutors with many, many years of practicing and academic experience between them, who have the knowledge of what the SRA are looking for, as well as the experience of dealing with candidates from practicing partners in law firms all the way through to people who have never set foot in a law firm and just qualified in their own jurisdiction. And so that gives you the confidence to know that your preparation is in safe hands as well as personalized based on your particular requirements. And so our course includes an initial interview with one of our senior tutors. Based on a questionnaire that you complete, they will review it, assess your needs, realistic time availability for study, and together you'll map out the best way for you to prepare for this practical element of the course. There's no one-size-fits-all approach for this. As a result, we insist that each candidate has an allocation to a particular tutor who will be with them throughout the preparation course. Once you've completed the interview, you'll receive a detailed, tailor-made study plan which is based on your conversation and the areas that you are strong on, as well as the areas where you may need to focus on for skills development. You receive expert guidance and direct contact with your tutor throughout your preparation, whether it's by email or Skype or telephone. You receive over 100 exam-type practice questions, as well as points to note, to help you not only self-assess, but also improve. And if you have any queries, you can also put these to your tutor as well. And the jewel in the crown of this course are the mock exams with one-to-one tutor support. Unlike self-assessment, unlike practicing with a third party, you will be guided by an expert tutor who knows exactly what's required and will be able to give you direct, to-the-point feedback which is relevant to help you prepare your skills and close any gaps in your knowledge. And this is done and is personally marked. You'll receive feedback straight away by Skype and then written feedback at a later date. And it's all based on the SRA marking criteria. You'll also receive a response to general academic inquiries relating to the law which you are assessed on, free periodic updates for the course materials as and when the law changes, as well as networking opportunities and online interaction with other candidates. I have to point out this is not just limited to the OSCE course. We also have a LinkedIn group with over 3,000 members in which a lot of people share advice, share experiences, and form informal study groups, and these happen throughout the world. Someone might come in from Auckland, New Zealand, for example, post on this group and invite other people in Auckland or other parts of the world to join in. So there's always opportunities for you to study together with fellow candidates in your city, and if you don't see any posts on there for people in your particular city, why not start one? It's always good to pool your knowledge and experiences together. So how much do these cost? There are 3 packages for the MCT. The textbooks, which I alluded to before, are delivered at no charge if you're within the UK. There's a £40 delivery charge to Europe and the US, and £90 to other destinations. The MCT Basic course, which includes the textbooks, the access to the MCT online training system, revision notes, course updates, the practice and mock tests, is £890. The MCT Advantage course includes everything in the basic course, as well as access to the MCT video library, which, as I said before, has videos for each of the outcomes from A1 to A11 and covers 35 hours and is a visual representation and explanation of these principles of English law. They can both top and tail your study efforts, as well as break up the process of reviewing significant amounts of text. And that's £1,190. The MCT Premium course, the gold standard, is the Advantage package plus 2 hours of tutor support and the initial guidance and tailor-made study plan prepared by one of our senior tutors. This is everything you need: guided preparation, comprehensive materials, and on-demand tutor support. For the OSCE course, we offer 3 packages. The first is the basic course, which gives you the materials and points to note, the tutor support, the tailored study plan and initial guidance, and 5 live mock tests. That's £1,390. The second one is the Advantage course, which includes 7 mock tests, and the most advantageous one is the Premium course at £2,390. £390 with 10 mock tests. These mock tests are banked and you can put them towards any of the assessment areas on the OSCE that you wish. So you're not limited to having one per area. If you want to put 2 or more for a particular skill set or a particular area of law, that is at your discretion. In terms of the law covered in the OSCE, we use OUP, or Oxford University Press LPC textbooks. These have been considered the most useful, beneficial and relevant in terms of the law and skills required. And so the course fees do not include the costs of these textbooks, but we have secured an exclusive discount with Oxford University Press for QLTS school candidates, and so you can receive them for the discounted rate of around £160 plus delivery, subject to the books that you order. These books can be ordered all together, or you may prefer to order individual ones based on your own particular circumstances. Now, as I mentioned before, we have on our website www.qlts.co.uk some success stories where our candidates from different jurisdictions have shared their story about their experiences preparing for and sitting the QLTS. There's some very useful advice in there. People from your jurisdiction are likely to be on there, and we're in the process of adding additional stories over the next couple of weeks from candidates that we have recently interviewed. They can provide you with everything from tips, ideas, realistic timescales, and inspiration, which we've had some candidates say is particularly helpful when they're in the midst of study and might be feeling the effects of it all. They know people have done it before them, have passed, and it most certainly is possible. Okay, so thank you very much indeed for your time. I do recommend you go to our website and sign up for the course. Also have a look at our success stories videos. And on our LinkedIn group, if you type in QLTS School, you can see over 3,000 members all sharing information and helping each other and forming study groups. So thank you very much for your time. Good luck for when you choose to take the assessments. And remember that even if you haven't decided yet, or if you're looking to take it in February or July, we can help you. So thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to hopefully speaking with you soon. Take care.